Hello, everybody, and welcome to another NPCs Weekly News Roundup for the week of November 20th, 2020. It is Friday. It is, where's my date? It's September 18th, 2020 here to our first story, and this is actually breaking news for all of us right now here, too. Figured this is a kind of a big one to cover, of course, with who it is. Joined via Discord by Kyle because we're in the midst of a pandemic still, and of course, everything is all kinds of crazy. So this thing is a chocker. I mean,
yeah, it's a beast.
It's huge. Doing that we had the Resident Evil stuff, that they were successful with Castlevania. Welcome to another NPCs Weekly News Roundup. And it's the news time. I am joined, of course, by Kyle via Discord. Kyle, hello.
What's up?
Man. And that is right, everybody. It is time for the NPCs Weekly News live stream. It is February 5th, 2021, and in tonight's stream, we are going to be talking about some Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4 news, but probably not the news you were looking for. We'll also be talking about what's going on with Stadia and some very interesting stuff about the PlayStation 5 that it looks like Sony may not have learned their lesson from years past. Again, guys, it's February 5th, 2021, and of course, I am joined via Discord by Kyle. Hey, buddy.
What's up?
All right. Audio looks good. Everything's running. We got people watching us. We are in a great spot. So we are ready to kick things off here. We got 10 great stories to talk to you guys about tonight. So we're just going to go ahead and hop right into it with our first one here, talking about Diablo and Overwatch. So from Engadget, don't expect Overwatch 2 or Diablo 4 this year. There is no release window for either game. First, the bad news. Neither Overwatch 2 nor Diablo 4 will not come out in 2021, according to publisher Activision Blizzard. Executives shared the information during the company's Q4 2020 earnings call, and they didn't provide a release window for either game. Overwatch 2 and Diablo 4 were unveiled at BlizzCon 2019, and at the time, Blizzard made it clear that both titles were in the early stages of development. Overwatch 2 adds co-op story missions, fresh maps, a new mode that plays like Tug of War, and at least one new character, Sojourn, to Blizzard's competitive first-person shooter. All characters are getting visual upgrades, and the UI will be new too. The game is definitely heading to PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch, and likely new-gen consoles as well. Diablo 4 is an isometric RPG, also in development for consoles and PC. This is the sequel to 2012's Diablo 3 and is set many years after the events of the game. Blizzard is describing it as a return to the series' gothic medieval roots with 3 confirmed character classes so far: Barbarian, Sorceress, and Druid. Activision Blizzard may have more information to share at BlizzCon 2021, an all-virtual event taking place on February 19th and 20th. So that was a very short, sweet, and to the point that, guys, 2021 is going to suck because we're not getting Overwatch 2 or Diablo 4. I was really looking forward to playing new Overwatch. I have nothing wrong with old Overwatch, but where's my new Overwatch? Come on, I want my new Overwatch.
Yeah, I want to play that story mode.
Yeah, I'm very curious about the story mode. I'm very curious to see the changes to multiplayer. I'm very curious about the integration with Overwatch 1 and 2, not only for carrying over skins and anything you've unlocked in Overwatch 1, but how the game plays in Overwatch 2 with people from Overwatch 1, because the multiplayer, I guess, is supposed to bridge between the two, save for the new Overwatch 2 specific stuff. So I'm curious to see what happens there.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see, what new aspects the multiplayer brings. But yeah, I'm really hung up on that story mode. I've wanted to see more of the story, and the animated shorts are nice and everything, but to get more would be really cool.
Absolutely.
And I don't know. Ever since they made that announcement, I've been super excited. So
yeah, trust me, it's been the same way. Like, my youngest is really, really big into Overwatch. I think we're like, for our family, we're Overwatch and Minecraft. Like, those are our two big things as a family. And so we're trying to get my daughter kind of working that way, so she's very aware of Minecraft. Overwatch, though, she's still trying to figure out, and she asks questions about. My wife sent me a video this morning as I'm at work of my youngest son showing my daughter the Overwatch 2 cinematic trailer just before he went to school for the day. And I was just like, I don't know why he was showing her. She must have asked something, but they watched that before they left. So trust me, it's not just us as like the true, like these hardcore older gamers here who play these things, crazy amounts that are looking forward to this. Even the young ones are really, really amped up for it. So damn it, 2021. Damn it.
Yeah, no kidding. And I was just playing some of that new Lunar New Year stuff today.
Is it really
I don't
new,
know about you.
or is it really new, or is it more?
Well, they've
like,
got some new stuff in it.
I was gonna say, I mean, every single event they've done so
They've
far.
got new costumes and new cosmetics and stuff.
Oh,
but
new costumes. Oh, how could I forget about the new costume? Oh.
It gives me a reason to play. It gives me a reason to play.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, thanks for that.
That Overwatch gotta, put it in. Give it to me.
give me the things here that have no monetary value outside of after I get them in the first place. So, yay. There'll be a skin market. I'm sure there will be at some point. Anyway, yeah, so Diablo 4, I'm 50-50 on. I like Diablo. I haven't played enough of Diablo 3 to really have a true opinion on it. So Diablo 4, I'm kind of curious to see if they do really take it back to what Diablo 1 and 2 were. And then if we are going to see that Diablo 2 remaster come out this year too.
Yeah.
Which supposedly
I don't know.
is in the plans.
I think I was a little bit excited about Diablo. I've never finished Diablo 3 to be honest, but I play a lot of it. I just like going back and restarting it over and over again. It's just a fun game to play. But I don't know. Just something new in this series to play, but it'll have to wait.
Yeah, we don't have a choice. We're going to just have to stick with Overwatch 1 and whatever people create in those custom maps too. So, such is life. Anyway, just as life carries on, so do we. And we move in here to our next story, and this one comes to us from Kotaku. Kyle, talk to us here. Mass Effect Legendary Edition, yeah, woo! Comes out on May 14th. What do they tell us about it?
This is big news for all Mass Effect fans, but even bigger news for me personally. Well, I don't know about me, but I know for you, Travis,
Absolutely.
it is. We won't have long to protect Garrus Vakarian from certain doom. Mass Effect Legendary Edition is out on May 14th for PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
Cool.
For those who've been sleeping under a chunk of palladium, Mass Effect Legendary Edition is the much anticipated remastered collection of BioWare's acclaimed science fiction trilogy. It'll include all 3 games and more than 36 DLCs from the original trilogy. Everything is done up in 4K, but the Legendary Edition is more than just sharpening resolutions. EA's website has one of those composite image sliders that compares the remaster to the original. In addition to the notable visual improvements, the heads-up display in the first game has received an apparent overhaul, with Shepard's health on the bottom of the screen now, like it is in Mass Effect 2 and 3. According to an interview with VentureBeat, BioWare developers also unified the character creators across all 3 games, smoothing out the shooting mechanics and updating the Pylar Mako controls from the first game, and a load of times been seriously reduced. Per Eurogamer, loading up the Citadel's Presidium level takes 14 seconds in Legendary Edition compared to the 52 seconds it took in the original. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm on the EA website now for Mass Effect Legendary Edition, just kind of going back and forth on the slider.
So does that mean those elevator rides are going to actually be shorter now?
That's what they were actually saying. I guess there was some stuff that came up talking about specifically how short that they do get, but the banter isn't going to change. That it's going to be the banter, the news clip stuff that we're used to hearing. It's going to hit much faster. I guess they said that it's sped up a bit. But yeah, you're talking like 40-ish DLCs that are included with this, and that's everything except I can't remember the actual DLC here itself. It's some type of weird training ground one. But BioWare actually came out and said that the original developer for that DLC could not recover the files. They were completely corrupted. So one DLC is not actually going to be making it here on the list. And yeah, it was some kind of training ground. I can't immediately recall which one it was, but there's that. And then what else was there that was going on with it? Oh, they extended out the ending of the game as well too, of Mass Effect 3, which is supposedly supposed to help with tying into the next Mass Effect game as well. So that's what they were saying, is that they've extended it out, which is really cool. I mean, it's not like it ended like that the ending was not long enough, but you know, I guess we'll just have to, or at least I will have to see what it is, because I'm very excited to play that game.
You know, I know I what was it, early last year, bought all the games on Xbox because they had them on sale or something, and I picked them up for like less than $10 for all three of them, I think. I'll probably end up picking up the Legendary Edition.
Well,
I've been told I need to play the game multiple times, so maybe this is time.
I may have to spend the money on this. I usually don't buy or pre-order games, really, you know, but there is a Mass Effect Legendary Cache collector's edition that comes with a 1/1 scale replica helmet.
And, oh, really?
And yeah, it's got LEDs and everything in it. Yeah. So it's so it's got the Mass Effect Legendary Edition metal game case, game not included. I'm guessing that's probably for either putting your game in, or even if you buy the digital. So it does not include the game, it's just all this stuff. So includes, okay, so you're paying $150 basically for all these collector things without the actual game in there. So you still have to buy the game, it looks like. So you're talking $210, but you get the Mass Effect Legendary Edition metal game case, morality spinner pin, that's kind of neat, an N7 acceptance letter, 2 canvas art prints, including one you can only find in the gear store here from BioWare, and then the helmet as well, and it is wearable. Includes LED effects. Damn, that'd actually be really cool if it had like could show you what it actually did.
Now you have to buy it and play through the entire trilogy on stream wearing the helmet the entire time.
Well, if the helmet covers my head just enough, technically it'd be counted as a face covering for me when I'm out and about. So
yeah,
I mean, I'm not saying I really should, but it's kind of funny. But anyway, yeah, so that game comes out in a few more months. At least, if anything, if I don't get the collector's edition, I will at least have the game. And what the fuck is going on? Cat, what are you doing? What are you doing? I am recording the news, you cat. Stupid cat is jumping around all over on these coloring sheets. Get out here. Well, my cat, god damn it. My cat has this penchant for chewing on plastic. I don't know why she likes the feel of it or whatever in her teeth or something. But that's what I thought she was doing, and I look over and no, she's crawling around on some coloring pictures that my daughter was working on earlier, just like jumping on them because of the crinkling sound. It's like, I'm live, you bitch. Anyway, so May 14th, I'll at least play the games. I'm not gonna if I can't get the collector's edition, I'll at least have the games. That's where
Are you gonna go for the hardcore best ending?
That's the problem, is that there's like 3 choices.
Yeah, but I mean, morality-wise, are you going to go for the good ending?
I can't help it. I always do. It's just...
Have you gone for the bad ending?
No, I never have. I can't bring myself to do it. I don't know. It's just, I can't bring myself
to do it. Maybe this is your time. Maybe this is your time to be a total dick while you play.
I got salty enough over the years from the last time I played Mass Effect. So yeah, maybe that's it. Is just being older, wiser, and just more pissed off. That's what'll do it.
Yeah. There you go.
Especially only if Shepard could just go and say, go fuck yourself, Garrus, or something like that. That'd be cool. But he won't. Anyway, so moving on with nostalgia's sake here to something else nostalgic here. We got this article here from Polygon, and I do have a question on this one for you, Kyle, once we're done talking. But talking GoldenEye 007's canceled Xbox 360 remake is now playable online. Rare's GoldenEye 007 on N64 was a shooter classic, and many players still fondly remember facing off against their friends in the game's competitive modes. Video Game Chronicle reported on a fascinating development for those who wish they could return to the game. A ROM of a canceled Xbox 360 remake is circulating on file sharing sites. Players can revisit the single-player campaign and multiplayer all remastered, or they can hit a toggle to put things back to the original N64 graphics, which are charming in their blockiness. On January 29th, a YouTube user, God, can't talk, named Grassloo posted a 2-hour video of the remaster which showed off the remake in extensive detail. There have been occasional glimpses of this project on the internet since its existence was leaked in 2008, but this was the closest look players had yet. Shortly afterward, the ROM was leaked, allowing people to boot up the game and relive a classic. Grant Kirkhope, composer of the original GoldenEye, told Video Game Chronicle that the game was never released to the public because of a complicated knot of copyright and legal issues. The main reason it didn't happen was because there were too many stakeholders, said Kirkhope. Microsoft, Nintendo, and bond rights holder Eon could never agree on terms, and that's before you even start to consider getting all the original movie actors to agree to have their likenesses used again. So, my question for you, Kyle, was did you see anything on this before the ROM story was posted, that it was actually up and available online? Did you see anything on it?
I didn't know. I had heard it kind of in the wind, but I hadn't actually done any digging or anything.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was like, huh, this can't be real. I thought this was long ago done.
So it was
like not real.
Yeah. So
but
I had a Twitter notification from Kotaku about this because this was everywhere too, but it was of the actual video, and I sat there and watched the whole 2-hour long playthrough of GoldenEye 64 on this version. Yes. And it supposedly is tagged as an Xbox Live Arcade title, that it wasn't supposed to be sold as like a disc or anything. You were actually supposed to buy it through the arcade on the Xbox 360, which makes sense because Perfect Dark was remastered and released. I'm not talking Perfect Dark Zero, I'm talking original Perfect Dark. So looks like it was all supposed to be in tandem, but it didn't happen that way. So yeah, I watched the full 2-hour thing, and I gotta say, the upgraded graphics definitely give it that charm of looking like an Xbox 360 game, but the stupidity of the enemy AI and the way you aim in that game too really shows its age as well, especially when you're James Bond and you're shooting at your enemies, and one of the enemies you're not shooting at yet decides to do this really slow roll across the ground.
Oh yeah, it's just absurd.
That's still there in its remastered glory. And I gotta say, like, I was watching that happen and I was like, they really were this stupid, weren't they? But no, it was like, to get through the entire thing, this guy was playing it on the toughest difficulty. It was like 2.5 hours of it, and I sat there and watched the whole thing, and it was definitely eye-opening to kind of remember, or to actually see a lot of it, because I remember the game, but there are some things that come up that are like, oh, I forgot about this section of a level, or I forgot about this little mechanic here, it was just interesting to watch, and I'm sure I probably would have purchased that if it did come out in 2009, but oh well.
I know I would have, because I bought Perfect Dark.
See, exactly. See, you would have been the one to do the same too. So yeah, that's out there. So if you're a person who wants to get access to that ROM, it's out there. Go play it. I don't know how to play it exactly on there, whether you use some sort of Xbox 360 emulation or you're doing something else, but it's there. So go and check it out. Go relive the glory days of old school James Bond and let us know how things go for you. In the meantime, of course, now that we're done talking about the old, let's talk about the new. And Kyle's going to talk to us about this because, Kyle, you're actually the owner of one of these systems here, so it's going to be kind of interesting to hear what you think, even though you don't really use it too much. Story.
No, it's actually ironic because I just canceled my membership because I got the notification that it was going to actually hit a paid renewal on the 11th, so I canceled it, and then this article pops up. So
well, there you go. So from Android Central, Stadia Games and Entertainment shutting down, changing focus to partnering with third-party teams, no longer building any teams from the ground up. So Kyle, let's talk about this here and what's going on with Stadia now.
Stadia Games and Entertainment is Google's first-party development studio for Stadia. Led by Ubisoft veteran Jade Raymond, the organization consists of two internally built studios, one of which is led by Shannon Studstill, formerly head of Sony Santa Monica Studio. Google also acquired Typhoon Games, creator of Journey to the Savage Planet, for further first person growth. Now it's all shutting down. Google announced today that Stadia Games and Entertainment is being shuttered, with head Jade Raymond exiting the company. According to a report from Kotaku, around 150 developers will be losing their jobs as a result of the closure. Google cited the time needed and expense nature of new games as a reason for the closure, since cost is going up exponentially. Google will instead be working to partner with third party companies. Google will be keeping Stadia's infrastructure intact and believes this is the correct way to turn Stadia into a long term sustainable business that helps grow the industry. All Stadia games will remain playable, and Google states that more titles are coming from third party partners in the future. So if you're currently enjoying playing the best Stadia games across the internet, this isn't going to change. Most recently, Ghost Recon Breakpoint and WWE 2K Battlegrounds were added as free to play games for Stadia Pro subscribers. Meanwhile, in truly interesting bit of timing, to the Savage Planet from Typhoon Games was added to the service today.
Wow.
Yeah.
So now we've got Google throwing the axe down again in their usual fashion, but this time instead of it being everything Stadia going, it's just a small chunk of it. And I wonder if in the process of this internal studio working on games, they saw what happened with Amazon with their kind of Overwatch-ish clone game that they're working on. Can't even remember the name of it. The one that was open beta and then went closed beta because because of the quality of it.
Shoot.
You know what I'm talking about. I'll let you look it up.
Yeah.
But I wonder if they saw that and realized on top of whatever could be going on that maybe they weren't going to be able to do something.
It like Hyperscape or something like that?
No, that's Ubisoft's battle royale game, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, I wonder if they saw that and decided to go that route, because there's nothing bad about Journey to the Savage Planet. I know Preston had a lot of fun with that game, but I think the bigger issue though is that it's like I think Google got like really ahead of themselves. It's like build the platform up first and then start acquiring things. But I mean, I don't know. I guess, Amazon's still pushing ahead. Amazon still got Luna going. Of course, Jeff Bezos is stepping down, so they got a new CEO coming up. But that CEO has reaffirmed his commitment to the gaming side of things for their realm, not only just Twitch, but for Project Luna and for their other games that they're in the process of making as well too. So, it's possible that
Was it the game Crucible?
That's it. Yep, Crucible.
Yeah.
I think Google might have seen that and just realized that it may not have been there, or they were having discussions with the two heads here, with Jade Raymond and Shannon Studstill, that they were talking to them saying, "Hey."
That was Amazon that had Crucible.
No, that's what I'm saying. I wonder if Google was talking to the heads of those the internal studios, and was like, it was like, okay, what are we going to be able to do what's tangible in like the next 12 to 18 months? What could be done?
Sorry.
And I think that's where they looked at what happened with Amazon and like, it's just not worth it. We just don't have the money to spend on this. It's just bleeding and it's not working right. And the licensing costs for working with third-party studios is a cheaper way to go while still offering some sort of deal here. But as long as those devs are able to actually find new work because of this, if they're able to return to their former spots or go with new studios, that would be awesome. But only time will tell, depending on how many people are working at those studios. So, but yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so from disappointing news, I guess, to, I guess maybe some good news for the world of Warzone. This
I think it's good
I
news.
really do think this is too, but I'm cautiously optimistic. So this story comes to us from VG 24/7. Activision commits to monthly Warzone updates on anti-cheat and bans over 60,000 in a single wave. Activision has broken its silence on Call of Duty Warzone. For what seemed like weeks now, Call of Duty Warzone has regularly been in headlines for all the wrong reasons. If you don't count Black Ops Cold War, merge growing pains, or the glitches and returning exploits, the integrity of Warzone matches has been further tarnished by a rise in cheaters. Activision never really addressed the problem, but this changes now. In a blog post, the publisher announced a couple of initiatives it hopes will seriously cut down on cheating in Warzone. For starters, over 60,000 cheaters have just been banned in a big new wave, bringing the total to over 300,000 overall since Warzone's introduction less than a year ago. Activision is also working on upgrading the anti cheat tech used in Warzone and further enhancing its ability to detect cheating. As part of the same commitment, the company is putting more resources towards monitoring and enforcement. The even bigger news is that Raven Software, Warzone's developer, will communicate regular updates on this process to players. We'll get at least one update per month on cheating. We will provide monthly updates at a minimum and, when possible, weekly updates to the community, said Activision. For Warzone communications, the Warzone development team at Raven Software will take the lead on sharing updates going forward. So, I mean, it's about time that we're actually finally getting some forward momentum on this. But what really gets to me is, why did it take so long to finally acknowledge that, there is a thing here? I mean, they've been doing small bans here and there of cheaters, but look at VAC bans on Steam, for especially CSGO. I mean, you're talking
Oh yeah.
hundreds of thousands of people that just can get knocked out in one go. Um, it's just, I don't know. It seems like, I'm not going to say it's too little too late, because 60,000 people gone is one thing, but if they don't really clamp down on what's going on, you're just going to have the same thing happening again, which is people buying the game again, creating new accounts, and just going in
Well,
there
and I
to
feel
hack
like
it some more.
60,000 is just a drop in the bucket as far as actual the number of cheaters on the game. Maybe it's them just trying to send a message that, hey, if you want to continue playing the game, we're just fed up at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I don't know.
Trying to look here. Let's see. How many, I'm just trying to see if there's any way to see how many people are playing Warzone right now. Let's see. Warzone. I don't want stats tracker. I want Warzone. Let's see. Number of players in Warzone. I just want to know right now. That's it. I don't want to actually see how many people have played so far. I want to actually see how many people are in the game right now.
Need the concurrent number.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Concurrent Warzone players. Let's see. No, I don't want that. Player counter. Live player counter. How many people are playing right now? I don't know where they get their information from, but it says 314,350 on this one. Yeah, I don't know exactly if that's right or not, but there's over 1 million people playing Apex Legends, but that new season did just start up though too. So,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, I mean, it's good. We got 60,000
So
that
you
are
said
gone.
you said it was 300 and how many thousand?
It was over 310,000.
Yeah, I see, and I found one that has an update button that it says 325, and you can click it, and it
Yeah, it's
will
the same.
change to a different number.
That's probably the
So
same one I found. So when you when you loaded up the page, it had already refreshed it from what I had seen it then. So,
yeah,
but really, it's not too little too late. I think it's okay. I think they're going to finally get around to addressing this, but they've really got to get their development stuff in step though too, because not only do they have to address the cheating, but they've also got to address the glitching that's going on too, because the stim glitch made a resurgence again this last week. That came back.
fun.
Yeah, that came back and was pissing off a lot of people. That just got patched, I think today. But it's what's next? It's they roll
Well,
out.
and they've been under so much flack for so much lately. I think they've
Mm-hmm.
gotten open lawsuit with someone. They for I want to say copyrighted images. Then there's also the shoot, there was one other thing that I was.
Yeah, there's a copyrighted images, which that one looks pretty cut and dry if you look at the
Yeah.
comparison pictures. They've got the
Oh, and then the pay to win skin.
which one was that one? Which pay to win? Let's see. I'm not saying
It's for purchasing the season pass. It was an all black skin.
Let's see. Pay to win skin be removed. Which skin? I've just got to see the skin here so I can actually get this. Let's see.
It's like a complete character blackout, essentially. All black clothing, black face mask, black eye makeup, black hat.
Oh, so yeah, I've actually seen some streamers play with this though too. So yeah, it's like a it's like an all black stealth looking like suit, and then it's got a black armor mask thing on it. So yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about. Here, I'll switch. Let me just. I know, of course, that people have like. This is a tweet here as well though too, but I'll switch over to it so people can see. But
so I mean, Activision has a lot on their plate. I don't know. 60,000 cheaters. Like I said, this is a drop in the bucket. But maybe I don't know. Maybe the cheating isn't what I would be actually tackling right now. Yeah, you deal with hackers pretty much on a constant basis, it seems like. But I'd actually like the game to run too.
Yeah,
that would be a pleasant aspect of it. I wouldn't like to be, going back to. I know this was 6 months ago or whatever, but you shouldn't be playing through Warzone in a game that at this point is old, and all of a sudden your weapon fractals out and disappears. You shouldn't be able to cheat with stim packs. It's unreal the number of problems that we're still having.
Yeah, and you'd figure there's really no excuse for it in the grand scheme of Warzone either, because it's honestly their existing multiplayer that's just been specced out. I mean, I don't remember hearing of these types of issues with Blackout mode in Black Ops 4. I knew that Battle Royale was thumping, and then Apex Legends kind of came in and stole some of the thunder, and then we had Warzone come down the line, only this last year that really took away from a lot though too. They're all still popular in their own right, but Blackout is nowhere near, I think, played as much as Warzone is anymore, or like Warzone is right now, excuse me. So yeah, it's like they know what they're doing. They know what's going on. I think that maybe part of the problem is just how many hands change off for Call of Duty every couple of years. It's like you've got Raven, you got what is it, Raven Software, I think was the name, who's doing Warzone. You've got Treyarch, you've got Infinity Ward. It's like guys, it's like if you're gonna be doing Call of Duty, it's like I think you need to bring everything under one umbrella. I think you need to bring it all under one roof, because someone's doing something right and someone's doing something wrong. There's something going on here, and that's what's causing the problem.
Yeah, there definitely needs to be some cohesion in there somewhere. So,
yeah. Speaking of cohesion, because I'm really loving these transitions here and the carryovers to our next stories. Sony is at it again, which is very interesting for themselves though too on this one. So I guess we'll just hop into it. This is coming to us from Geek Culture. Kyle, fun one to talk about here. Sony PlayStation has been selling its coveted PlayStation 5 at a loss. What the hell is going on there with them?
With the scarcity and frenzy of PlayStation 5 has brought in, one would expect them to be raking in profits like no other. Despite shipping in 4.5 million consoles across the world since its November 12th launch, Sony disclosed that they are selling the successful console at a loss in their quarterly report to investors. That means regardless of how many consoles Sony produces, they won't be able to record any profit from the console sales. Of course, the razor and blades business model isn't anything new, and they aren't coming up short in other numbers. With their consoles sold at a loss, the company continues to make substantial profits through their games. PlayStation 4 stocks and their online services, PlayStation Network. Additionally, they have been making progress with the rest of their branches in the industry, such as digital cameras and smartphones. At the moment, PS5 is still sporadically out of stock, mainly due to demand. Thus, fans have to count on Lady Luck in getting their dream console through retailers that adopt a raffle system.
Yeah, it's so this is just echoing back because the PlayStation 4 and 4 Pro, they didn't seem to have this, I guess 4 Slim as well. They didn't really have this issue. But it was the PlayStation 3. The original PlayStation 3 is where they had the problem that they were losing money every console that they sold. But the question is right now is how much. It wasn't disclosed. It wasn't shared out there.
Hmm.
It's curious to know. I will fully put this out there right there. I am not a stockholder of Sony's in any way, shape, or form. So this does not affect me in any way. Because if they're making it up in other realms though too, then that's one thing. But um, it's just interesting
But
to
it
actually
really
see
makes
that.
me wonder, you know, how can they really like show the investors that they're going to account for the loss? Because you also have to account for loss of so many people that are buying the console solely to hack it, so many people that are buying the console, to resell it and then resell it again.
Mm-hmm.
That there's a lot that's also going on that Sony's losing profit on these things with too. So I don't know. Just kind of another angle for the investors, I guess, that I'm sure they've probably looked at, but I don't know.
Yeah. So I've actually got their financial report up here right now because it was linked in the article. So let me go ahead and share this to the screen for everybody right now. So this is the actual section that they are in. Can I get rid of that part? Yes, I can. Okay. So in the game and network services segment, okay, because Sony's a Japanese company, of course, everything here is reported in yen, and I guess we need to do the math here to see what happened. But in sales, though, for quarter three of 2020, they were showing a 40% increase, and that increase came from game software sales, including add on content, so paid DLC, microtransactions, and such, and then increase in hardware sales due to PlayStation 5 launch. And then OI is operating income. So that means that's, I think, the money that they use to spend on actually doing the work, like to actually make the stuff and marketing and that. So increase in game software sales, increase in networks service sales, mainly from PlayStation Plus, higher profit margins on the PlayStation 4 hardware because, of course, they've rotated around their production of PlayStation 4 to PlayStation 5. And then, of course, the two bullet points on here, kind of related to the last article, increase in selling, general, and administrative expenses related to the launch of PlayStation 5. And, of course, loss resulting from strategic price points for PlayStation 5 hardware that were set lower than the manufacturing costs. So that's the key part right there. It looks like is loss resulting from strategic price points for PlayStation 5 hardware that were set lower than the manufacturing costs. So because they sell the console, it's $4.99 for the disc version and $3.99 for the discless, right? I think those are the two.
Yeah, I think no,
It's not $5.99. There's
for
no way. I think it's $4.99
yeah,
for
no,
the
you're
disc.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
$3.99 and $4.99.
Yeah, but they offset it though, because they had a increase though in it from the same quarter in 2019 though by 20. Let's see, what is that? 53, 60, 70, 80. Yeah, 20. Yeah, it's right actually there. So 26.7 billion yen, significant increase anyway. So they had the extra cost on losing money with the PlayStation 5, but they didn't actually like lose money overall though in the game and services network services segment, which is I guess a good
I,
thing for them.
I also wonder if the investors maybe look at those numbers and they say, "Hey, if that's the case, maybe we should be producing if we're losing money anyway, maybe we should be producing more of the digital consoles to force people to purchase more stuff directly from us."
Mm-hmm. That very well could be part of it.
Because you think about it, there were a lot more disc-based consoles rather than the all-digital units.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. Is that Sony just softening the blow for the future systems coming out, or
I
you
don't
know?
know. Yeah, that's a great point. I'm not really sure on how they're approaching that. I'm just curious to know how they were able to finally bring down the costs anyway and actually start to make a profit on the hardware with the PlayStation 3. Like, what was the turnaround time for them to do that? Um, but, I mean, overall, that means at least that for them to be competitive with Microsoft on the Series X, that they're willing to take that risk and willing to take that gamble. And Microsoft, I think, just did financial earnings as like their financial report sometime in the last week or two.
Hmm.
I don't know. GameStop stock has been all over the fucking place anyway. I don't even need to say more on that. But uh, they had theirs, and nothing came out article wise about any mention of lost revenue because of the price they set the Xbox Series X at. So,
I think they had said that initially, though, before the console was coming out. I could be wrong, but I think that was said.
let's see. Let's see.
But you think about it too, though. Xbox kind of has its own ecosystem, like Macs do at this point.
Yeah, and it looks like the only articles for this are back to September of last year, 2 months before the console released.
Hmm.
And it's saying here, um, well, okay, fine. Maybe I won't look at it then. It doesn't say how much, but that's why I was just like, sometimes it's there, but sometimes it's not. Yeah, so maybe they're not actually losing it. Because again, they should be disclosing something like that, but it'll come out one way or another if they are. But anyway, I mean, it means it's better for the consumer because it means that the console is competitive, and at the same time, it doesn't mean that they raise their price to $5.99 just to be able to make a buck. They're willing to take that gamble
Right.
because they know you'll buy it. So good on them, I guess. Maybe. I mean, they're making enough, so whatever. Um, anyway, so carrying on from money news to more, not necessarily shutdown, but stop news, I guess. I don't know how to really put this. This story is from VG247 again. And not necessarily a surprise on this one, but Ninja Theory will no longer provide content updates for Bleeding Edge. Ninja Theory has announced content updates for online team-based brawler Bleeding Edge have come to an end. In a post on Twitter, the developer said no further content updates will be developed for Bleeding Edge. Instead, the team will now focus its attention on Senua's Saga, Project Mara, and the Insight Project. The game is still playable on Xbox and PC. I can confirm that it is still there. Bleeding Edge released on March 24th, 2020, and supported crossplay between Steam, Xbox One, and Windows 10. It was formally announced at E3 2019, just a few days after it was leaked. Ahead of its announcement, Ninja Theory worked on the title for over 3 years, and it started out as a MOBA. The last major update for the game came out in the form of character Azrael back in July of 2020. I mean,
It looks like it would have been a MOBA.
yeah, it's really got. It's like they've got the vibe there for it, and they just like took the camera from
You
me
know what it's got
overhead
the
and just
vibe
like
of?
shifting it.
It's got the vibe of Battleborn.
And isn't Battleborn the one that really lost out because of Overwatch?
Yeah,
Yeah. See.
and it was a MOBA. It was
See.
like the cross between hero shooter and MOBA.
Yeah. See. Exactly. It's like, yeah. It's just, man, what a pain in the ass for all these companies here itself, though. But we actually did a once over of Bleeding Edge. So if you guys want to check it out, well, you're watching us here, go onto our YouTube channel. It's one of our earlier videos, though, from last year. Go check out what we thought of Bleeding Edge. And if you guys still want to check it out, it's out there and available to play on Game Pass. So you can go and download it and go and check it out. So have fun with that one for sure. And now, of course, on to the most, I gotta say, I think this is actually the most interesting story of the week because first off, it didn't have to be done, but they did it, and it's actually the headline story for us based on our thumbnail. If you guys happen to catch that, this story comes to us from Games Radar. Kyle, you get the honors of talking about this one because this is still the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. Resident Evil Village's lady, and I might be butchering this. I haven't actually listened to anybody pronounce her name yet, but Dimitrescu towers over her peers in height comparison chart. Outbreak's Thanatos and Damnation's T103 or 013 are the only Resident Evil villains taller than the Village's tall vampire lady. So what the fuck?
Resident Evil Village's famous Lady Dramatricus Or how'd you pronounce that?
Dimitrescu.
Dr- Dr-
Dimitrescu.
Dimitrescu.
Dimitrescu. I don't know.
I'm gonna get tongue tied every time I say that.
Mm-hmm.
AKA the Resident Evil vampire lady isn't just tall for normal people. She's tall even compared to most of the Resident Evil series giant mutants. In a handy height comparison chart created by Redditor Zero's Pandora's Box, or Zero 07 Pandora's Box, excuse me, you can see the Resident Evil Village resident vampire lady, let's just leave it at that,
That's fine for now, I
is
guess.
at least a head taller than every villain up until Thanatos from Resident Evil Outbreak and the gargantuan T013 from Resident Evil Damnation. That's really cool.
Yeah.
And is that an official size chart?
So that's based on the information that people could collect, like from other stories and other lines, that were out there. Because there have been novelizations and comics written that give more detail into heights and that. So yeah,
Huh. So, Capcom confirmed yesterday that Resident Evil Village's Lady Dimitrescu is a backbreaking 9 foot 6 inches tall. So there's comparisons are easy to figure out with just a little digging. But it's surreal seeing the internet's favorite vampire lady towering above the likes of Mr. X from Resident Evil 2, Nemesis from Resident Evil 3, and even the T002 from the original Resident Evil. Of course, Lady Dimitrescu does more than command the respect of the kinky admiration of the Resident Evil fan base. In a brief phone call with the Mother Miranda from the first trailer, she could also be telling us a whole lot of what's going on in Resident Evil Village. The complete transcript of the call references protagonist Ethan Winters and a mysterious fool named Heisenberg, and I'll let you make of it what you will. And then it does include the transcript. Mother Miranda, I regret to inform you that Ethan Winters has escaped the fool Heisenberg. Because he is in my castle and has already proven too much for my daughters to handle, when I find him, no, yes, of course, I understand the importance of the ceremony. Yeah, pretty creepy.
I've got the height chart up here. Like I grabbed the image there from Reddit, and yeah, this is just funny though. It's just like the fact that Capcom actually came out and said, "Hey guys, guess what? She's basically at the height of the ceiling in your house. Just letting you know, it's just." Because of course there's all the scale stuff, because like when you're looking at the actual videos, you can see her you can see that she's definitely much taller than everybody else anyway, including her daughters. And it's just like, what in the actual hell, like, did it really take here for for them to actually come out and say, yeah, she's 9'6"? No, why does that matter? That
Yeah.
Out of everything being shared right now, why do we need to know about how tall she is? I'm serious. It's funny to think about, because it's like, I don't know. It's bizarre that was one piece of trivia that we had to get about her.
Not gonna lie, the image that the guy made looks legit. Like that would be out of a strategy guide.
It does, yeah. It actually looks like that's absolutely right. Yeah, like some sort of like pull out like thing or something, like a pull out poster that would say that. But like people have been making memes of this all over the place though too. There's also been like, what was it? Microsoft got on the train too and put Master Chief up next to her to show height differences. There were a couple other scale comparisons out there too. I know the Master Chief one I saw because I follow the Xbox team there on Twitter as well. But Man, it's like everybody's throwing stuff out. Like there's even one. I know it was 343 Studios that did Master Chief, and it was the Xbox team who compared it to the Xbox Series X looking fridge. That was what happened. So it's like, okay, well, there's that out there now. So thanks everybody.
That's funny.
But yeah, so there's that story, of course. But anyway, we move on. We got two more stories for you folks. This second to last one here comes to us from Polygon. I don't have any good transition for this. How do I go from tall to this? Tall to big? I don't know.
Well, this is a tall order for as far as an acquisition goes.
I'll give it. I don't have anything else, so I'm just going to give it to you. This comes to us from Polygon. Borderlands developer Gearbox acquired by Embracer Group in $1.3 billion deal. Gearbox Entertainment joins the massive company formerly known as THQ Nordic AB. Borderlands developer Gearbox Software is now part of the Embracer Group, the parent company that includes publishing and development studios THQ Nordic, Saber Interactive, Koch Media, Deep Silver, and Coffee Stain Studios. Embracer's acquisition of Gearbox, namely the Gearbox Entertainment Company, which encompasses Gearbox Software and Gearbox Publishing, is worth $1.378 billion, according to a news release. Gearbox founder and CEO Randy Pitchford called the transaction not merely a stimulant for the talent of our employee-owned company, but a propellant for the exciting future we have planned. According to a news release, the deal enables the expansion of talent at Gearbox Studios, the creation of a new Gearbox Studios, and expanded partnerships. During a Q&A session hosted by Embracer Group, Pitchford indicated the deal will not impact development of future and existing games in the popular Borderlands franchise. We love our relationship with Take-Two and the 2K Games label, and we are committed to working together through all the known and planned Borderlands work that we have going on, Pitchford said. I anticipate that we'll continue and make new opportunities together. Pitchford later clarified that Gearbox has a relationship with Take-Two where we've agreed on certain rights for exploitation of the IP. The IP is a Gearbox IP. Let's see here. Really nothing else there to say except, I guess, this part here. Because a lot of people might be asking, well, who's Embracer Group? Embracer Group, based in Karlstad, Sweden, was previously known as THQ Nordic AB. The parent company boasts 57 internal game development studios and more than 200 owned franchises, including Saints Row, Goat Simulator, which, okay, maybe you make mention of that, Dead Island, Darksiders, Metro, MX vs. ATV, Kingdoms of Amalur, Time Splitters, Satisfactory, and Wreckfest. I don't know about Wreckfest, but I know Satisfactory because I really want to try that game out.
Oh man, I've seen some crazy videos on Satisfactory.
Okay, so Gearbox is being rolled in to this, and you made the comment here to me, Kyle, about kind of the way Embracer Group is. They are a competitor basically to Tencent in more ways than one.
Well,
right?
that's what it kind of seems like is what I was
that's
saying.
What you're really getting? Okay.
Yeah. And not only that, they made that announcement of the Gearbox acquisition with the announcement of two other acquisitions Wednesday with Aspire Media and Saber Interactive. So.
Okay.
Yeah, and Saber Interactive does a lot of like mobile puzzle games. Aspire Media is actually one of the. I want to say they're the ones that have been putting out classic Star Wars games. So, like your remake of Jedi Academy and stuff, I believe was through Aspire.
Mm-hmm.
Pod Racer, so on and so forth, and the rumored remake of KOTOR, or at least re-release of KOTOR, is being worked on by Aspire.
Okay.
Supposedly.
Let's see. List of games ported by Aspire. Wow, Jesus Christ, they got a whole... They are basically a big port company. Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and another thing I feel like, not only that, aside from them being maybe like a major competitor to Tencent, because Tencent is buying up a lot of stock in different companies, and I wouldn't say they're necessarily buying companies outright. They're just buying shares, like I would say controlling shares in companies.
Mm-hmm.
I also feel like this is a way that I feel that publishers are going to have to stand against, big forces like Sony and Microsoft, in order to retain the freedom that they want to have. They want to have to be able to complete their projects in the way they want to.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
I think so. I think I get what you're talking about there, but
Like I think because of the way uh Microsoft, specifically Xbox and Sony have been swallowing up companies, um, to for in order for the smaller companies to survive. I think we're going to see a lot more buyouts like this w- with Embracer Group, with Tencent, buying up these smaller companies in order to just allow them to be able to continue to do their project under their own umbrella.
yeah, but it's like Gearbox really wasn't suffering for anything either, for
No,
them
not
to really
necessarily,
go.
but
So,
I mean,
I mean, Bethesda
there
wasn't
is the
either.
potential that if they were ever to get bought out by Microsoft or by Sony, or God forbid, obviously it's not going to happen, but Stadia, um, they could be blanketed under something else, and all of a sudden that company might want to change the direction of those titles of that franchise, or
Hmm.
where the company was initially going in the first place. So I
Hmm.
don't know. I think some of these buyouts are going to be a good thing in the future.
Yeah, I really hope so. I mean, my biggest thought though is that this isn't necessarily as interesting as say like the purchase of Bethesda by Microsoft, because Bethesda was originally its own standalone thing and now it's becoming, we're not really sure what it's becoming yet, because the concern, of course, for all the properties they have is if Microsoft decides to go ahead and flip the switch and say, okay, everything you make now is first party. Elder Scrolls is exclusive to Xbox. Doom
Well,
is
and I
exclusive to
think
Xbox.
that's going to be the one example that we're going to have, and we won't
Hmm.
see anything of that merger until much later this year, because it won't be
Exactly.
finalized until midway through this year. So,
Exactly. And Alex commented on here, Gearbox made the expansions for Half-Life 1 back in 99 also. First time I remember hearing about them. So
yes, they did.
there you
Blue
go.
Shift, Opposing Force.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I did not actually know that they had done those. So that's kind of cool to hear about, really, something I wasn't aware of. So neato. But okay, well, I guess we will see what comes of it with like games and how things carry on, Borderlands and anything else. Hey, maybe because Gearbox has it, maybe we'll see another Duke Nukem game.
No, God, don't say that.
Well, I did, because guess what I'm doing now? I'm at least taking you away from that sad, dark, crazy place here to not only our last story, but to also a very happy spot. So let's wrap it up, Kyle. Talk to us about this one here from Polygon. Someone actually hit every Smash Bros. Melee credit after 20 years, 190 names in total.
You might as well roll the video while I'm reading this, because this video is insane. But normally, when you hit the credit sequence in a game, you either zone out or lie back and leisurely take them in. But not in Smash Brothers. The party fighting game franchise is known for having a mini game at the end of its single player campaign, where players are tasked with zapping every name before it disappears from the screen. It's such an iconic part of the series that you'd think someone would have gotten to the top score in the most revered entry of the franchise, Super Smash Bros. Melee. But no, until 2021, absolutely nobody had managed to hit all 190 names in the Melee sequence. But then a man by the name of Nathaniel Bandy put out a challenge to the community. The first person to nail every credit would win $3,000 out of Bandy's own pocket. The run had to be on an actual hardware and recorded so that viewers could see the actual inputs of the controller. The deadline was March 31st, also known as the meme day, where some Nintendo games arbitrarily vanished from existence. Over a week later, someone, Martin Zarate, was finally good for it. Zarate told Polygon via Twitter that it took about 50 hours to accomplish, with practice for individual sections clocking in at about a dozen hours each. The most challenging part would be the voice actors. They come in at different directions, and there is no room for error, he said. After you get the hardest part of the credits, you're going to stay composed and hit the rest. According to Zarate, it's likely took this long for anyone to do because there wasn't any incentive attached. The last known record happened over a decade ago in 2007 when a player managed to hit 182 of the sequences. But also, Zarate recognized that it's a challenging task. You had to learn a different control style, memorize the pattern, and executive very difficult inputs, he said. The money, he said, will go towards his tuition. Zarate is getting a degree in parks and nature or natural resources with the hopes of perhaps becoming a park ranger. For now, though, the Melee community is celebrating his accomplishment as top Melee player. Mewtwo King wrote in the comments for a YouTube video, "Wait for real."
Jesus Christ. I mean, hey, he's got ambition, he's got goal to do it, and the funny thing is that he's able to, that was how he was able to at least accomplish some of that. So good on you, but such a weird thing, man. Some weird stories.
I think it's really cool, and watching the video, there's a few parts you're just like, ooh, I don't know if he's gonna
exactly,
make it. And then,
exactly.
Yeah,
I you gotta imagine spending 50 hours to do it though.
That's mind numbing.
Yeah, I mean, we
truly mind numbing.
It really is. That's just
because you have to play. You would have to play the story mode through every time in order to get just to the sequence, right?
I don't know. Actually, I'm not sure.
I'm fairly certain. I don't know. I don't have my Melee was on the GameCube, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't have my GameCube or my Wii hooked up here, so I wouldn't be able to check it right at the moment.
Yeah,
so.
it's whatever. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't remember how the story progression went, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was a way to go around it. Because in the video itself is that he wasn't on a GameCube. It looked like there was some sort of debug menu that was open there at the end of it.
Oh, yeah.
So if it was a GameCube, did you find a way to get into some sort of menu there that allows to get back to the end credits there and continue the practice?
That's a possibility.
So I'm not sure. There'd be a little bit more explanation that's required, and maybe, I'm not trying to be that person, but hopefully it doesn't disqualify him from the 3,000. So,
yeah.
Anyway, everybody, that was the last of the news for tonight, for this last week. There's a lot of news, a lot of weird news. Tall vampire lady still just baffles me as to why that was actually even something put out there by Capcom.
Scary.
But just, no, it's not even scary. Everybody's like, oh, Nemesis is scary. Oh, Mr. X is scary. And then everything I'm seeing about her is like, hurt me, like step on me or something.
She would walk up to you and crush your head in her thighs just by stepping over you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's the whole thing of it, is that a lot of people are doing that. And
think of that.
Yeah, like I guess Philip DeFranco called out Markiplier about this exact thing though too. Like I guess he brought out like a baseball bat that he brought out. What was it? What do they call that? Horny jail. He brought out the bat and threatened to bonk him to put him into horny jail, and then I guess Markiplier issued a challenge to him because of that. But it's like, whatever. Just, there are people out there. It's weird. The internet's been around long enough that you've got enough freaks out there that are into that. I guess I don't know.
I guess,
whatever.
Yeah, I mean, evil should not be that tall. I like the little crazy Spanish dude from number 4. He's like 4 foot nothing.
You're asking for a lot anymore now. Games are basically go big or go home. So that's what
he turns into a giant enemy at the end, I want to say, doesn't he? It's been so long since I played 4.
I think so. I don't remember either. Anyway,
I need to go through that one again.
Anyway, for all of you that joined us, of course, thank you so much for tuning in to our news live stream, of course. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We got a new video for Hitman that's going to be going up here tonight, so be on the lookout for it as soon as it gets done uploading tonight, or, of course, tomorrow. And if you're watching us on Facebook, make sure to hit that like button on our Facebook page so you can see when we post stuff up on our Facebook page, which includes when we go live. So please make sure to hit all that there. Of course, we got new podcasts hopefully coming your way very soon. And if you guys haven't tuned into the ones from this last week, not only do we have a good What Are You Playing, where Kyle, of course, had problems with Cyberpunk crashing out on him, but I talked about beating the Titanfall 2 campaign, finally, after all these years. And we also had our topic on top modern local co-op games. So go make sure to give those ones a good listen and hear how things ended up ranking on our lists. With all that, though, thanks, everybody. We will catch you all in the next news live stream. Good night.
Bye bye.